Alright everyone, so today we're going to talk about magic to right a wrong. Now if you've been wronged in your life and you feel like you want to correct the situation, like the shake that you've been given by the situation, the circumstance that you find yourself in is not enough, and the other person needs to pay, they need to realize what they've done, you feel that they've caused you pain, you feel that they've caused you anger, and you feel that you deserve some monetary reward or some emotional reward. Either in the form of money, like I said, or the form of emotion in the sense that they need to admit that they're wrong, or they need to admit that they did something wrong, and that you are given the closure for the situation that you so desire. Now, here I have an Amlong crystal, and it's a very prismatic crystal, and Amlong crystals are some of the best to use when conducting magical activities. It comes in a case like this with Amlong crystal at the front, and you definitely want to keep it in its case so that it's not constantly interacting with any light around it. I also have a pencil, I have a lighter, I have one of my fingernail clippings, a very small one actually. It actually doesn't even require that much fingernail clipping in order to conduct this ritual, so just one is enough. Now, I also have some parchment, one bigger piece, one smaller piece, and they don't have to be very big, so you can cut them out of the parchment that you have. But parchment is the best for magical rituals, for spells, things like that. I have some neem oil, which is kind of a Hindu thing, a Vedic thing, and it's a very pungent but spiritual oil that I like to use sometimes. I have a velvet bag here, small one, and I have a stone that I kind of found in my backyard through some, you could say spiritual searching, trying to find just the right stone for what I'm going to do here. Now, the first step is going to be, and I'm going to be performing the ritual and describing it at the same time, so it's going to be interesting. Now, I'm going to be shifting my focus not just to explaining, but also to the ritual, so I'm going to be talking a little bit slower, obviously. Now, as I light this candle, I picture the one who has wronged me in my mind's eye. And looking at this candle, I want to eventually, once I get the ritual completely going and the visualization takes place, I want to line up the tip of this crystal with that flame right there, probably the middle, the base of that flame right there. And I'm going to visualize through that medium. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is on this piece of paper, I'm going to dip my pencil into this neem oil and write down a description. It doesn't even have to be a name, it just has to be a description that identifies the person as they are. And dipping the pencil in the neem oil, I will describe them, and I will not show this, but I will be writing this with the neem oil and the pencil. So you want to describe who they are, or definitely their name if you know it, but you don't necessarily need their name, and what they did to you. And you need to be picturing them in your head this whole time so that you have a clear idea of what your focus is for this ritual. And as much description as you are able to give is appropriate, so that the universe can kind of isolate and name this figure that you've interacted with, or that has wronged you, basically has wronged you. You should not do this with somebody who stepped on your foot or called you a name. You should do this to somebody who needs to understand what they've done is wrong, and that they need to pay for it, with cash or with emotional understanding, at the very least. Make sure to list exactly what they did to you. Now that that's written, what we're going to do is burn it in this candle. And once again, this is, well, actually I didn't mention this, but I'm going to drop in this fingernail clipping so that I tie the whole ritual to me and to my purpose, so that it is alive and tied to the desires that I want to come out of this ritual. So I drop my fingernail clipping into the black tea light candle. It doesn't have to be a black tea light candle, but I like to use a black candle, at least for things like this. Then we burn this paper with the description and what he did wrong. We see it burn in our mind's eye. And then we see the consequences that will come about for him. Now, with this pencil, once again, we dip it in the neem oil. And we write on this smaller piece of paper the consequences that we want to come about. And basically the title of the person or the person's name. And of course, whatever payment you decide that you are due. Then what we're going to do is pour some of these ashes, not necessarily pour, but kind of rub some of these ashes onto the piece of the smaller piece of paper that we've written, and kind of get that rubbed in a bit with the neem oil. Now we're going to wrap this stone in this paper and make it a, you can call it a curse stone, you can call it a focus stone, a stone of ill will for the person that has wronged you, and something that you can carry in your pocket basically and rub on to continue the ritual, continue the consequences for the person, and focus your mind on what you want to get from that person if you write that down. So this will be a talisman of reminding you that this person has wronged you and that they need to pay you back either in emotional recognition or literal money. This is something you can carry with you, and it becomes very powerful the more that you hold it in your hand, the more that you think about this person, and the more that you recognize what you want to get in return from the wrong that has been caused you. Now, we're going to go ahead and cap this neem oil. And to finish up the ritual, I'm going to lay this talisman behind the candle, and then I'm going to hold 4 corners of this Amlong crystal, and I'm going to close my left eye, and I'm going to line up the point of the crystal with the flame, kind of the base or the middle of the flame, and I'm going to picture this person and what I want to basically come back to me once this situation is concluded. By the way, if you still have this talisman once the situation is concluded and you don't want anything else back, bury it outside, destroy it in some way. Otherwise, it'll continue to draw, and it might even turn on you eventually. So as I focus on this flame, I picture the person, what they did to me, and what I want in return. I picture the person's face, I picture what they were wearing, I picture their demeanor, I picture what kind of person they were, and what exactly they did to me to cause me trouble. Whatever it might be. The ritual is complete. Careful with this. Thank you very much for watching.